I'm really nice, honestly, really nicey McNice, nicey McNice, nice. Ask anyone. I'm super nice. I am the nicest person. I sign all e-petitions. I am, honestly, nicey McNice. I voted Liberal Democrat because I didn't want Nick Clegg to cry. I'm the nicest person, honestly. I'm nice in the way that only having a crap and absent father can make you nice. Do you know what I mean? I've got a really healthy, sphere of abandonment. That's serving that nice. That's quite damaged enough to be super nice. My father. My father, to give you some background, my father is... 3 bits of information, really. That's all you need to paint you a picture with words. Firstly, my father is... he's got quite a lot of money, and he won't give me any of it. So that's the first one. Secondly, one of the last times I saw my father was during the general election in 2010, and my father uttered these words. Well... David Cameron, really, just lives like any normal person, you know. And thirdly, and probably most importantly, sadly, ladies and gentlemen, my father is a chartered accountant. No, it's not his fault. No, it's probably his fault. He's a chartered accountant. He's made a choice. No, but it's not his fault he's a bell end, though. Because my father was born very disadvantaged. Not financially disadvantaged or socially, morally disadvantaged is what I'm saying. He's born in a morally disadvantaged environment. My father's born into one of those middle-class families. You know, the ones that just don't mention the thing. They don't mention anything, like that. You don't talk about anything. They don't, like that. I've got an autistic cousin. I have never met him. I've never met the poor sod because they just don't talk about him. They know he's burning the curtains down somewhere, poor bugger. But if you don't talk about him or think about him, he doesn't exist. And also, another example, my grandmother, when I was a child, she once referred to me as being a little bit handicapped because I was left-handed. So, he was on the back foot, poor man, wasn't he, for being a bit of a dickhead. So, having a crap dad just sort of make you into an angsty teenage, doesn't it? I was I was one of those teenagers, the boots were as heavy as the eyeliner. Do you know what I mean? So consequently, I sort of grew up into this slightly sort of anxious child who felt like anyone I ever upset or offended would automatically leave me and move to Scotland with a woman called Joyce, who then inexplicably changed her name to Claire. So I sort of, I created for myself around the true personality. I created a sort of flexible, nice personality, a chameleon-like personality, something that was a mirror to whatever anybody else wanted me to be. Just nice, super nice. But here's the secret. Appreciate it's not really a secret in this room. I'm not nice. Not at all. I'm dreadful, awful. On the inside... Awful. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my fucking mother's fault. No, honestly, it's not mine, obviously. It's, no, she broke me. Because, my mother, a lot of people think back to their childhood and they remember their mothers as being warm, comforting influences, picky-uppy sort of cowpole people. No, that's not what I had. Do you know what I mean? That's not what I experienced. My mother wasn't really a comforter. That's not the sort of person she was. She was more of a, let's say, encourager. That's a better word. Do you know what I mean? She was an encourager in that she encouraged me to be a better version of myself. And she did that, she just sort of, she did that by kind of, criticising. No, but she did sort of, she was the sort of person who didn't suffer fools gladly. She didn't hold with things like laziness or self-pity or injury. She wasn't having any of that. And she was blindingly honest with me at all times. So my problem is, every time one of life's little irritations comes my way, what I do is I swallow the grenade of that rage so that it explodes safely, boom, inside me, away from everybody else. But the problem with that is that now my insides are starting to look like a fondue party at Satan's house. And that's hard to deal with, and it can be anything, like normal, like irritating things like queue jumpers or rude people or, I don't know, the Tory party or the Labour party or people who say H. But yeah, so every time one of those things comes my way, I swallow that grenade, and that means that the pressure on the pressure cooker inside me is notching up every time until something small will happen and full carry. Honestly, that pig's blood running down the walls, tables flipping everywhere, innocent bystanders being taken out by sheets of fire in my head. That's what's happening inside my head. In reality, it's more of a sort of life deletion. Like it's just a removal. The poor person who happens to have incurred my impotent ire is just removed, deleted. It's absolutely atomic. It's an empty, desolate wasteland where a friendship used to be. I'll tell you what else. Don't care about your problems. Don't care. Oh, God. If something hurts, you better hope your fucking leg is hanging off. And even if it isn't, and even if it is, after about 45 minutes, you better hope it's cured. Because I'd be bored with all your moaning. Don't care. Oh, it comes, of course, with having known real suffering, doesn't it? When you're nasty cold sore, not really worth my headspace. Why don't you try things like chemotherapy, radiotherapy, incontinence, early death? Those things are worth a poor you, to my mind. What I'm saying, chaps, get ready to feel awkward, is that in 2004, my mum died. Now, I do like to leave that moment hanging because everyone goes, "Oh!" And if you say it in conversation, people go, "Oh my God, oh, rigor mortis," which is apt. But no, people go, "Is there a way I can commando out of this situation without being seen? She's talking about dead people. How do we get out of this?" But don't worry, let's all let that go. You're going to have to because all of the show is about it. No, and also I don't want you to worry because she did die of something trendy, so few. Woo! Goodness me. Because no, honestly, you're bloody no one, are you, these days, till you've had the old breast cancer? Oh, no. Honestly, what you might not know is you're practically contractually obliged to write a Guardian column or a blog about how liberated it made you feel. What you're not supposed to do is fucking die of it. So that's draining, isn't it, that she did. And... yeah, it is hard because it's been 12 years, 2004, 12 years since my mum died. But sometimes I do have to say those words out loud. My mum died. Because sometimes even now still don't really, truly think they're true. Now, obviously there is nothing more irritating than the early death of one's only functioning parent. But the devil, as they say, is very much in the detail, isn't it? Even the language around cancer is really infuriating. People use these words like, my mum beat cancer, my mum lost her battle to cancer, which makes it sound like a board game. It's not a board game, guys, not a board game. There's never been an update that was like, well, Cynthia's rolled a 4 this morning, which has put her in remission. We're all very pleased. No one's ever put that on Facebook. And if they have, well done them. No, it's not even a battle, to be honest, really. Or if it is a battle, then it's a sort of Passchendaele-style offensive where you are the battlefield and the oncologists just lob chemical weapons absolutely fucking everywhere until they can get cancer to fuck off back to Cancerland. I mean, it's just the luck of the draw. That's the way I see it, anyway. Anyway, so she died. I just felt like it's worth pointing out that it wasn't like for any lack of trying. She made an effort. She had to go. Basically, I wasn't coping very well. Because grief, as it turns out, is a little bit like finding yourself suddenly in the ring with Tyson Fury. Contemporary reference, go me. No, in that you're just sort of wondering how the hell you ended up there in the first place when, bam, you get smashed in the face with an iron fist. And then you just scrabbling back up from the floor, standing up thinking, why did Tyson Fury hit me in the face? When, bam, he smashes you in the face again. And then you add to that being repeatedly smashed in the face by Tyson Fury, these sort of pale-faced, moronic people asking you questions about things you couldn't give a fuck about. So it's like, bam, are there going to be flowers at this funeral, Lucy? Bam, lilies, bam, roses, bam, fuchsias, bam. Hello, Lucy, this is the vicar. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your mother, Jerry. Yeah, it was Jenny. Bam. Oh, we don't really do CDs in our church. How about the Lord is my shepherd? Bam. Oh, is there going to be food after the funeral? Bam. How many quiches is too many quiches? Bam. What are you going to wear, Lucy? Bam. No, you can't wear pyjamas. Bam. Are you going to wear black? How about a nice beige? Bam. Hello, Lucy, this is your father speaking. Do you know who I am? Well, yeah, because you have just said. And also I spent quite a lot of my teenage years writing angry poetry and felt tip about you, so yeah, I'm up to speed. Oh, good. Now, look, I'm sorry to hear about your mother. Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. Look, I'm a little bit worried. Oh no, don't be worried. I've got lovely people looking after me. There seems to be lots of. No, I'm worried that your mother might have led you to believe that I've got a lot more money than I actually have. Oh, right. I'll bear that in mind. And also, I've decided I won't be coming to the funeral. The funeral director man, he sorted the CD for us because he said, oh, what sort of music do you want? My mum didn't really listen to music. She listened to Radio 4 all of the time. And I thought, well, so in the end I went with Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel, because I just thought perhaps Woman's Hour wouldn't have the same as the same effect. So there we go, facts. But the problem with all of that is that the people that surround you at times like this, that's not how they want you to behave. These pale-faced ghosts of anxiety, they want you to smile through glassy eyes while they clutch your hand. They want you to weep quietly while they tell you that time is a great healer. And so that's what I did, until I couldn't be that for them anymore. And then I just retreated. I shut myself away in a house that my mother was never coming back to. And I let grief batter the shit out of me. I hit the wine like a bitch. I fell asleep on the stairs repeatedly. I had carpet burn on my face. I remember the doctor gave me magic happy pills, which were neither magic nor happy, but bloody hell, they did go well with a decent Sancerre, darling. Oh, yeah. Oh, and anyone who has ever lost anyone will tell you that this is the time. This is when it is. This is when all the should-haves and the what-ifs file in like unwelcome, long-lost family. All the times I open my mouth to tell her something. You should see Denise's garden, it's shit, and you would love that. All the things left unsaid. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the time that you didn't tell anyone about when I pissed myself at that wedding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the time when I was 5 and I called the dog a bastard in front of all your friends. I love you. Obviously I'd said it. Obviously, I've said it thousands of times, tagged on the end of sentences, text messages, walking out the door, BT dubs. But suddenly, in that moment, I had no recollection of ever having taken her by the shoulders, looked her deep in the eye and told her just how much. Yeah. So, grief's hard. It's really hard. It's hard work. And it's tiring. It's like physically really tiring. And you have to sort of get up and get to the end of every day like carrying a big boulder. And in amongst all of that, there's all this admin. There's all this admin involved with a dead person that you have to do. And that's really boring and confusing. And the biggest piece of admin for me was what to do with the ashes. Now, I'd like to tell you that the scattering of my mother's ashes was a unique and spiritual experience vital to the healing process. Fucking wasn't. The first problem I had in the Bluebell was that there was quite a lot of people taking the air, and I wasn't 100% sure that what I was doing was strictly legal. Well, because you hear all those dreadful stories about people at Disneyland getting hoovered up, don't you? And I thought, well, I don't want that. That's dreadful. So I sort of spent quite a lot of my morning with my Tupperware jar under my arm, going, morning. I haven't even got a dog. So that was a bit awkward. But so eventually I found sort of a quiet moment. There's no one around. I thought, right, going for it. Unscrewed the top of the jar. Looked inside. Came across 2 more problems. Firstly, I was expecting to find the only kind of ash that, up to that point in my life, I'd had any real experience of. Fag ash. That's what I'm supposed to find. Something that looks like fag ash inside. That's not what human being ash looks like, everybody. Human being ash is a really alarming, bright white colour. Really bright white. Looks like the consistency of sort of cat litter, isn't it? So I was looking at the really bright white ash inside my sweet jar, and then looking at the very dark brown floor of the bluebell woods, and I'm spotting issues at this point. The other issue I had that I discovered was that there was fucking loads of it. Honestly, loads of it. Who's the fat bitch now, you cow? Jesus. Holy moly, there is loads. I was thinking, what am I going to do with all this? Now, has anyone ever seen the film Chocolat? See the film Chocolat? In Chocolat, if you've not seen it, right, there's a bit where she scatters the ashes of her mother to the four winds. It's lovely. Right, she's got this little tiny box. There's about this much ash. Her mother must have been a borrower. It's tiny. Right, she goes to the window, one tear, bit of music. Ah, French nurse. Je suis une pomme de terre. Other French words. Damn. In the end, this is how I disposed of the ashes of my mother, like this. Until I was looking at an enormous pile of white gravel on the floor of the very dark brown floor of the bluebell woods. And I was thinking, well, this is not ideal, isn't it? Because I sort of thought, what if there's lots of people walk their dogs in the bluebell woods. What if all their dogs come and roll about in my mum, and then she ends up in living rooms all over East Sussex? That's not what I want. So I sort of started to spread it out a little bit with my foot. Then it was dreadful because a little bit of her got caught in the treads of my welly boots. I was started to fixate over which bit of my mother was in the treads, like a shin. Or something. So then I was thinking, well, this isn't working. So I started to get big handles of leaves and grass, so cover it up, camouflage it. People are walking along morning. Oh, it's really awkward. And then I started to get really cross again because I thought, this isn't what I want. I don't want to camouflage the final resting place of my mum. I'm not ashamed of it. If anything, I want to paint a little sign that says, "Here lies my mum. She was brilliant." Or maybe this is perfect. Maybe this is exactly what she wanted. I don't know. That's the point, isn't it? I don't know. Just one thing. That's one thing that I want to ask her. Mother, are you happy to spend the rest of eternity here under this tree in the bluebell woods, covered in grass, and also a little bit on my welly boot? Is that all right? When the pale-faced ghosts of anxiety tell us that time is a great healer, what we hear is that time will cure our scalding flesh. But that's not what it means. To heal means to bear the scars. And now the red and angry scar of my grief is maybe just a bit tired and sad. I'm tired of holding this anger in all the time. And I'm sad. Sad that some of the best people I know now are people who never met my mum. I'm sad not to have the firebrand in my corner anymore. And I know that lots of people will say that I do, that she's out there, she's watching over me, she's cheering the triumphs, she's lamenting the heartbreaks. But I find that quite hard to believe. I don't know, I dream about her, like real visceral, tangible dreams, but I very rarely have any sense of her being near. And even if I did, you know what? I sort of hope she's got better things to do. I don't want her to be watching through parted fingers as I lurch from catastrophe to victory and then quickly back to catastrophe again. I hope she's moved on. I hope she's found more. Anything else? Do you remember that I said that I went to all my friends and I asked them for validation when Facebook man called me bitter and nasty? And they all went, no, what? You're not nice, what? They also said something else. They said that nice wasn't what they liked about me anyway. Nice wasn't the best of me. What they liked about me, the reason they were my friends, the reason they loved me, the reason they dragged themselves out on a Wednesday night in the rain to come and watch my show is because of my humour and because of my blinding honesty. Turns out she's the best in me, not him. She's who makes me me. So come on, to finish. I want everyone to go out there, go forth and express your rage. From the vaguely irate to the downright apoplectic. Express your indignation, your vexation, your fury. Be piqued, be galled, be splenetic, and in high bastard dudgeon. Be livid. But do keep living. Thanks for coming, guys.